Yes, here we go. Here we go. Welcome to another episode of Always Anonymous. It is your host, Michael Bonner. This episode, you know, is special. It is Friday. Listen to me. What happens on Always Anonymous is that listeners record a 60 to 90 second voice note. They send the voice note in to me. I utilize technology to hide the voice, disguise them. I send them a contract to make sure we promise legally that they will remain anonymous and everyone is good. This week, I have not listened to this bad boy yet, but we're going to see what needs to be said. Let's dive right into it, because Always Anonymous is always about adding some spice, adding some flavor, some color for the end your week off. So let's see what our listeners in the Conversations Unleashed community are on today. Let's see.
I'm so excited to be here. Okay, here's my question and give it to me straight up and raw. I'm a 43-year-old woman, single by choice for the last 15 years. I date, I mingle, but I refuse to get into a committed monogamous relationship. I have different men that I've dealt with over the years, and so far it's worked. But lately here, I've been having serious baby fever, and I think it's time for me to slow down and chill out and get ready to have a baby. With that being said, how should I go about the situation? I've mentioned it a couple of times to some of the guys that I'm dealing with, but they're not looking to go that route with me. And I just want to know, do you think this is a bad idea, or am I waiting a little bit too late? I don't know. All I know is I want a baby.
Look, I knew eventually we would have one of these. I knew eventually someone will call in with one of these voice notes. So listen, she's a 43-year-old woman. She has been dating. She has refused to be in a relationship, but now she wants a baby. She wants baby fever. She said, is it too late? Okay. All right. Y'all sit this in. So listen. All right. Is it too late? No, it is not too late. Are the conditions, my love, for you to have a child at 43 harder? Yes, God, it is. Now, we don't know where you're living at, because let me tell you something. Where you live at is definitely also a huge factor when it comes to dating, partnership, having a baby. I will tell you this right now, being in Atlanta for 6-7 years, it is a completely different dating environment compared to being inside of North Carolina, for sure, right? So one of the things I want to make sure I encourage you, thank you for sharing your story with us. Please forgive me for the facial expressions I made, okay? I will say this. Number one, you have to factor in the market. You said you are a 43-year-old woman, and we don't know the city you're in, and now you want to have a child after sort of refusing monogamous relationships for a while. Baby, it's going to be hard for you out here. Okay? And I say it's going to be hard for you because, like you said, you presented and asked men what their thoughts on about this idea. When it comes just to biological factors alone, I know people are up and down about that. In social media, they get into it all the time. But I would say this. There's no question statistically it's probably harder for a 43-year-old woman to have a child versus a 35, a 30, or 25. Can complications happen with all of them? For sure. But we can say probably harder on her body. It'll be harder for you. Is it impossible? No. But I do believe that God can help you out with that for sure, and having the right thing. And that's going to lead me to my next point. One, you got to look at your market, baby. What kind of men are around you? You know, where are you at? Because it's going to make a difference. But number two, you need to pick the right partner. And listen, you need to pick the right partner, because I'm learning, y'all. I think Darius Daniels said this. It is very difficult to have a good relationship with a bad pick. It is very difficult to raise a child with a person who is not good at being a parent. You are wasting your time sometimes with that. So I would like to ask you, what is your appetite? Everybody's always talking about dating is trash online and stuff. Nobody wants to talk about, but what is your appetite? That's like me saying food is trash. Well, what is my appetite for the type of food that I eat? If I'm always eating unhealthy processed food, well, then my appetite with food is not going to be the best, right? So I want to encourage you, if you're talking about having a baby, what kind of, I would assume, you said men, so I'm assuming you're in a heterosexual relationship. What kind of men are you vetting, and are they showing good characteristics of being a father? Are they consistent? Are they dependable? Are they loyal? We ain't even gonna get to money yet. Do they have good character? Are they honest? Are they considerate? Are they empathetic? All of those things matter. And if they make we can go with the minimum average salary. If they're a black man, 50,000, average salary 65, 70. If they're making that and that's the baseline, well, baby, go from there. But you need to check out where you living at, one, market, two, pick the right partner, three, check with your doctor. Check with your doctor. Social media will always tell you one thing. You're a 43-year-old woman that wants to have a baby. Cool. Social media will always tell you one thing, but I've also learned that there's something called real life. And it is so smart to consult with people in that field to get a real answer that you need. Baby, go talk to your doctor to make sure that having a child at 43 will work for your body based on your family, background, and things like that. I think that's super important. I say that too as well because let me tell you, I took some advice from a social media financial guru on my taxes one time. My accountant was so upset with me because the person gave like a blanket statement, but there's so many details behind that tax law they were talking about that they didn't go in depth about. And I shot myself in the foot. I don't want you to be online looking at different communities where for some reason everything is possible online. But sometimes it goes into the realm of not being realistic. So definitely pay attention to that. Number 4. All right. I got another point. My last one for you is be sure about this. You're a 43-year-old woman who wants to have a child in 2025. You don't have a relationship right now. As a classroom teacher, let me tell you something. Children do better when both parents are involved and in their life. I'm not saying you have to be with the person, but let's just be real. 2 is better than 1. Even the Bible says something about a 3-stranded cord is not easily broken, right? So it's doing something by yourself is, especially with raising a kid, I wouldn't advise anybody to sign up for that. Is it impossible? No. Can it be done? Yes. Will the conditions be hard on you trying to raise a baby by yourself at 43 years old in 2025? For sure. I'm not going to lie to you on this podcast, my love. And what I want you to do is I want you to be sure about this decision. Raising a child is a different type of ball game. I'm not having a child unless I am married, and I'm not getting married unless I know I have fully vetted this woman from her character, her lifestyle, how she dressed, how she talks, how she interacts with strangers. I don't want you to go and bring in the most precious gift, which is a child, right? I think that's super important to pay attention to. Everyone, for example, I was married before, so I didn't have any children in the marriage. So I can just sort of divorce, we're done with each other. But a child, that's forever. And even if you don't deal with that child, they still carry your DNA forever. That's a decision I think you should definitely check on and really be sure about. So 1, your market, understanding that you are 43 years old and in that realm of having a baby, you may not be the first pick for whatever reason for men. There's a lot of reasons, but we ain't got time for that. So be understanding of the market. Number 2, pick the right guy. And don't just go off of money. Don't listen to social media. Don't just go off money. Number 3, check with your doctor. Number 4, be sure before actually having a child. Well, I'm going to give you this last one. Don't feel bad, right? Don't feel bad. I'm actually glad that you sent in this episode for Always Anonymous because let me tell you this. When there was a period of time online where you can manifest everything and I can create anything and I can get whatever I want. Y'all, life is not like that. There are some good people that if you messed up with that good person, you will probably not meet a person like that again. And I know you are 43-year-olds and you would like to have a child. I'm praying for you. I hope it comes into play under the right circumstances and factors that will benefit you and that child and that family in a beautiful way. But don't feel bad about it happening at 43 because like you said, you refuse to have a relationship, right? You and I are similar. There was a time in my life I wasn't focused on relationships. When I first got to Atlanta, 29 years old, no, I was not thinking about no relationship. I had my fun, but I wasn't prioritizing relationship because I was trying to build something. So now what you have to recognize is we pay the consequences of our decisions for whatever reason. So for me, I was scaling my company, making sure that I didn't get fired from the Ron Clark Academy, that I would be sustainable here. Now I'm 35. Now I'm still talking about I want a family and I want a child. Now, could I date an older woman that's older than me in her 40s and try to raise a family? I could. It's not impossible, but it'll be harder for her on her body. Could I be with someone my age, 35, 36, a woman? I could, right? We know that that can get a little difficult at times too with having a child, and we got to learn each other. So I'm 35. By the time we probably get fully engrossed in a marriage and everything, I'll be 37, 38, 39, right? So for me, someone would say, well, the best option, Michael, if you want to have a child is you have to date younger. You have to go younger, right? So I'm telling you this is that I have to weigh those same decisions too. Regardless of whatever reason we had for being where we're at right now, we still have to deal with real life. So I'm hoping that the advice I gave you will help you out, and be encouraged. Okay, don't beat yourself up. Be excited, but I just highly encourage when it comes bringing a child in this world as a teacher, they need the best care possible so they can be functional adults. And I'm praying and knowing since you listen to this podcast that you're gonna do that. All right. So thank you for sending something in. Woo, y'all. Listen. We had our second episode of Always Anonymous. Let me tell you something. I know it got a little tight. All right. I know it was interesting, but I like this because that person had a chance to get something they're probably insecure about and have a let's just chat about it. If you have something you want to talk about, send it in to Always Anonymous. I want you to send it to this email right here. mbonner, mbonner54@gmail.com. Listen, we're getting voice notes from teachers, what's happening inside of their schools. We're getting relationships, life perspective. And I like this, everyone, because it's real life, real things, but it's always anonymous. I love you. I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care of yourself. And never forget, legacy over lights, and go for your dream. Stick to your plan. Never your move. Talk to you soon. Peace.